6 rookies coming into Formula 1 in 2025, we have something going on in the whole Formula 1 grid that we've not had happen other than in fucking F1 esports. We've had 8 of the 10 teams with driver changes. The only 2 teams that have driver changes are McLaren, because they have a goated lineup with 2 young drivers who are very capable and are race winners, one of which almost won for a championship if he didn't just shit himself at every opportunity of having pole. But I digress. And the second one is just the biggest cash grab, the biggest joke of a team with a lot of backing and a lot of good things going on other than drivers, which is Fernando Alonso, who is a very, very capable and very good driver. We saw that in 2023 with his multitude of podiums. They could have been second in the championship. Could have been. Didn't get there, but they could have been. And crucially, we also have Lance Stroll, whose father owns the team, so what the fuck? What are you gonna do? You're gonna get fucked either way, right? But all other teams have at least 1, if not 2, drivers that have not been at that team before. Let's start from roughly the bottom and move our way up. Sauber, 2 new drivers, completely new driver lineup, and as of now also has lost their, there were some Alumni Bravi, who's like their marketing director kind of shenanigans. I don't exactly understand what that reason is. I mean, they're a gambling team, so it doesn't really make sense. But this is their preparation for when in 2026 Audi does take over. They have Gabriel Bortoleto and Nico Hülkenberg, who kind of proved to people that he is amazing and he can perform at a very amazing level. I mean, the guy was in the top 10 a lot of times. He was I think he was in the top 10 as many times as Sergio Perez. Correct me if I'm wrong. The next team is Alpine with Jack Doohan and Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly, kind of close to the end of the season, seemed to have found his 2021 form, which he had with AlphaTauri, formerly now called RB, VCarb RB Racing Bulls. You get what I mean. Jack Doohan, I'll get into him in a moment, but he is in a very awkward position, to say the least. Then we have the likes of Haas with Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon. Now, Esteban Ocon could be absolutely chaotic, or he could be a very good, safe pair of hands. In both scenarios, they have a very quick driver to replace the outgoing Nico Hülkenberg, and an equally quick driver in Ollie Behrman, who was kind of let down in F2 by his team, Prema, who just shat the bed, just absolutely took a massive dump on that car and just did not perform to the way they would usually do, so fuck that, right? Then we have Mercedes with Kimi Antonelli and George Russell. George Russell has come out to be created the biggest beef we've seen in terms of just talking ever. I mean, the stories that we have heard from the driver dinners near the end of the season, it's just fucking hysterical. It's absolutely, I was laughing my ass off. But created some drama, kind of put himself as a target under Max Verstappen's eyes. It's not great, but it's a thing that's going on. And Kimi Antonelli, basically the second coming of Max Verstappen, essentially, if you could call it that. But this time for Mercedes, which could have happened when Max Verstappen was coming into Formula 1 for the first time, but didn't because Mercedes got cold feet and now they haven't, so they're kind of making amends for what they did last time around. This guy had a lot of expectations and a lot of eyes looking towards him because he's also replacing Lewis Hamilton, who's going to Ferrari. Amazing segue. Let's get into that. Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari is probably the thing that we never expected to see. We've had a year, a little over a year, to kind of sit on it, think about it, accept it, and move on. I don't really know what's gonna happen to that team. It's gonna be absolutely chaotic. I really don't know. Then we have the two teams which kind of left it very late in terms of their driver lineups, which is RB and Red Bull. RB now has Yuki Tsunoda and Isaac Hadjar. Isaac Hadjar almost won the F2 championship, but didn't. Just purely because of Gabriel Bortoleto, who absolutely didn't walk it, but he proved that if you talk about one drive that made sure that championship was Gabriel Bortoleto's and he deserved it, it was Monza. Man did it last first, like he was driving against 0% AI. Absolutely wild. Next, Red Bull, the main team, the team that at the beginning of 2024 we thought was, oh shit, here we go again, but became, oh god, they might actually lose the championship, and they did lose the championship. They have Max Verstappen, duh, and Liam Lawson. Huh? I made a video about how I think Liam Lawson may or may not have been the right choice. If you want to check that video out, it's on the channel. It's the previous video that I posted here about last year. Yeah, that was last year. But it's amazing. It's amazing to see that. I think I've covered all the teams now. Let's talk about all the rookies. We have 6 rookies. Liam Lawson counts as a rookie technically because he's not completed a full Formula 1 season in terms of races. But he's about halfway through the 2025 calendar. He will have completed a full race. Full season in terms of races, but not the full season in terms of calendar season. The main thing that we kind of need to keep in mind, right, is that Liam Lawson and Kimi Antonelli are the two drivers that everyone is going to look at. These two drivers have absolutely a lot to prove. Kimi Antonelli did 2 practice runs in a Formula 1 car in a race weekend, of which one practice went very well, very stable, capable of a pair of hands. The first one he did, which was arguably the more important one to kind of bed in, he crashed out on lap 2. Not great, but it is something to keep in mind. So Kimi Antonelli has expectations. He basically needs to be able to challenge for podiums at the very least. That's the expectation that everyone else has. It maybe Mercedes themselves don't have that expectation from him, but that's what everyone else expects from Kimi Antonelli. Similarly, it is the same case for Liam Lawson, who, in hindsight, may actually be a very good pair of hands, because I have under the belief that a rookie has no understanding of a Formula 1 car to the same extent as an experienced driver would. So an experienced driver going to a car that's been built for the other driver that has been there for multiple seasons is going to struggle, because they have a driving style, they have to adapt, and some drivers are more adaptable than others. Rookies are always more adaptable than more experienced drivers, because look at Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo was not able to adapt to the McLaren. Oscar Piastri was. We can kind of argue that the same happened with Sergio Perez, and that's why he lost his seat. Liam Lawson does not yet have enough races under his belt to have a concrete style that doesn't work with Max Verstappen's style. He could adapt himself more easily and more readily to Max Verstappen's driving style and kind of be able to drive the car the same way that Max Verstappen does. And then we have two drivers similar to what McLaren has who are able to drive at a peak performance or close to each other using more or less the same characteristics, which is great to see. But then you have to keep in mind that Isack Hadjar has a lot to prove as well. Isack Hadjar can basically sit back and just not crash, and if Liam Lawson does crash, there's gonna be a lot of problems. It's gonna be difficult to make things work. So my thought is it gonna happen? Is Liam Lawson going to be able to be within that quote-unquote 3/10 margin that Red Bull wants from him? I don't know. I seriously doubt it. But I've been proven wrong before. We probably are gonna get proven wrong. And if we're not, then I can say I told you so. Then we have Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan came in to do the final race of the 2024 season and could have been a good pair of hands to, take a small step forward. But the problem is, Alpine also just signed Franco Colapinto, which is just weird in my opinion. It's like putting a nail in Jack Doohan's coffin before it even starts. His career even starts. It's very weird to do that. Unless they're gonna do a mid-season swap, which, seeing from 2024, is very much possible. Then we have two drivers who have little to no expectation on their shoulders, which are Gabriel Bortoleto and Ollie Bearman. Gabriel Bortoleto is going to a team which has been the worst car for at least 2 seasons, if not 3. Right? So we can kind of expect it's not gonna be going well. It's not gonna go over well with any one of them. So Gabriel Bortoleto has what Oscar Piastri has done a back-to-back championship in F2, and then is coming into F1 in a car that is just probably going to be the worst car on the grid, which Oscar Piastri also had in Bahrain in 2023. And we saw how that ended, right? You saw it's the least scrutinized car on the grid. If he can get anywhere close to performing at the same level as Nico Hülkenberg, that's a win in my book. That's absolutely even. Like, he needs to be, let's say, within 2/10 of Nico Hülkenberg, and we can say Gabriel Bortoleto has arrived. Ollie Bearman has basically the same situation overall, because that's how it works. The only thing is, Haas may or may not move forward in 2025, because their upgrade path has been working in 2024. It worked. They were getting very close to podium positions. I think they got a best position of P5. I mean, they had a few amazing strategy calls. Canada, where they absolutely blitzed the field for a bit and looked like, oh, they've nailed this. Or not. So, with that, those are my thoughts about the 6 rookies joining the F1 grid. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys agree, who do you think has the most pressure on them to perform, and who do you think has least? Do you agree with me, Gabriel Bortoleto being the least under pressure? Leave in the comments. And let me know if you like these kind of videos where I just waffle and there is no editing. Let me know what you guys think. Peace out, and get out of here.